This program has been recorded in front of a live studio audience. Today we're going to show you how to start your rhythm rondo project. On my webpage are some very specific directions, so let's take a look at those first. First thing that you need to do is open GarageBand and create a new project. We're going to call that project Rondo and then your last name. So here's GarageBand, new project. I'm going to call it Rondo, R-O-N-D-O, underscore, and then my last name. You use your own last name. And it says to change the tempo to 88 beats per minute. Select the desktop and save it to your name folder. So I'm going to click back on GarageBand, select desktop, and then select my name folder. It might say home or it might say your name. And down here we want to set the beats per minute to around 88, or you could go slightly slower than that if you wish. Once all those settings are correct, I'm going to click Create. Now I'm going to go back to my directions and go to page 2. This is a step that a lot of students will skip, and then when they go to record, things aren't working right. So real important, you're going to open GarageBand Preferences and check the box for cycle recording. So I'm going to click back on GarageBand. Up at the top where it says GarageBand, I'm going to highlight that and select Preferences. I'm going to check cycle recording and then uncheck the other one. So cycle recording is checked. At this point, you might be wondering, hey, where is the Save button or the Apply button? You don't have to worry about that. All you have to do is close the window and the changes will be saved. If you don't believe me, you can double check that by going back to Preferences and say, yep, cycle recording is selected. So we're good with that step. Now we're on to page 3. We're going to choose a drum kit and then turn on the cycle region button. To choose a drum kit, let's double click on the piano, and then over here is drum kits. There are 6 different drum kits for you to choose from. They all have a lot of similar sounds. The jazz kit, the pop kit, and the rock kit are similar. The techno, hip-hop, and dance kit have a few more electronic sounds. You can pick whichever kit you want to. Just don't spend more than 4 or 5 minutes playing around with the kits. For sake of now, I'm going to choose the rock kit, which is a fairly standard kit. The next thing the direction said was turn on the cycle region. The cycle region button is down here at the bottom. It looks like a recycling symbol, and you'll see when you turn that on, it gives you this yellow highlighted region up there. That means that you will only be able to play and listen to that section while that's on, which is going to help you on this project. Let's go back to our directions. It says click the record button, listen to the steady beat one time through, then start recording. Our record button, of course, is down here on the bottom of the GarageBand window. So before I record, I'm going to find a few sounds that I like. And just so you can see what I'm doing, I'm going to turn on the keyboard view here. You don't need to turn this on because you could see what you're doing on your own keyboard. So every key is a different sound. We're going to record several layers. Make sure that your first layer or 2 are really simple. And then as you go on, you can make your layers more complex. And click record and then listen one time through. And as I'm listening, I want to feel the beat and count in my head. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, ready, go. When it loops around, then I start recording. So there's my first layer, nice and simple. I'm going to listen to it one time. When it loops around, I'm going to add another layer to it. Still keeping the layer pretty simple. Now when you get onto layer 3 and 4 and 5, you can start to get a little more complex and make it sound more fancy, but still feel that pulse. Make sure you're constantly feeling the pulse and thinking in your head. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. When you're happy with what you have, you can click the space bar. If you decide that you want to add a little bit more to it, you always can. Just make sure that it's highlighted in dark green like that. So that is my A section. Now to record my B section, all I've got to do is move my cycle region over. When you're moving it, if you pull up like that, it will disappear. Don't worry, just turn it back on and you'll be fine. Slide it over to where you want it. Now it's real important when you're recording your B section that your A section isn't highlighted. So make sure you click away from that so it turns light green instead of the dark green. Before I do my B section, I want to find some different sounds. Remember, the purpose of the B section is it should sound different than the A section. It should have contrast. So I like choosing some different instrument sounds. I use those two right there, C3 and C sharp. So I start recording, first time through, listen to it. Feel the pulse in your head and give yourself your own count off. 1, 2, 3, 4. Listen to what you have one time. Center back in on the pulse. Give yourself a count off. 1, 2, 3, 4. Before you loop around, give yourself a count off. And 1, 2, 3, 4. When you like what you have, hit the space bar. So now we have A, B. Your assignment is to create a rondo that's A, B, A, C, A. So some of you might be wondering, okay, now do I have to play the A the exact same way again? No, we could use the power of computers and copy paste it. So select the A section, go Edit, Copy, move your cursor over, and go Edit, Paste. So now I've got A, B, A. If I want to listen to the whole thing so far, you might think, oh yeah, just hit play, but watch what happens. It's only going to play my cycle region here, so I've got to turn off the cycle region, and now I can listen to my ABA so far. So I've got A, B, A. My next section is the C section. So I've got to turn on my cycle region, slide it over to the C, find some new sounds that I like. Once I find them, press the record button or the letter R on your keyboard. Listen one time through, feel the pulse. You can tap your foot or your hand. When you get to the last measure, give yourself a count off. 1, 2, 3, 4. the cycle around, feel that pulse. 2, 3, 4. Now you may notice that my A section and my C section got merged together because I forgot to click off of that one. Not a big deal. I can go to Edit, Split, and split the two apart. So now I've got A, B, A, C. My last section is A, so I'm going to paste my A in. It's already in my clipboard. So I'll go Edit, Paste, listen to the whole thing. I can take that off. So some key takeaways, make sure you follow the directions, especially that second page to turn on the cycle recording. Make sure that when you're recording, you're feeling the pulse, counting inside your head, 1, 2, 3, 4. Make sure that you start out with your first couple layers simple, and then as you get to layer 3 and 4 and 5, you can make it more complex. Your goal for the first class period is to try to get at least your A section recorded, and then next class you can do sections B and C. Questions?
Do you only have to do 5? Could you do more?
Yes. The minimum for this project is ABACA. Either next class or the class after that, we'll take a look at the rubric and see what you have to do to go beyond the minimum. If you want to make each section longer, make it 4 beats instead of 8, you could do that. Or if you want to keep going ABACADA, you can. The rubric is posted on my webpage if you want to take a look at that.
Are we going to add anything besides the drums like a piano?
Question is, are we going to add anything? There may be a possibility for some of you to add some more of this, but you first want to get down your really solid rhythm rondo. Once again, you can take a look at the rubric, and the last category on that explains what you can do to add more to it. We got one more question. Everybody use a drum kit. There are 6 kits to choose from. Use one of those. We want this to sound really rhythmic, so yeah, choose from a drum.